in the middle of a very difficult conversation about enemies and household, Jesus talks about sparrows and the counting of hair. Not one sparrow falls to the ground apart from the Father. Every hair of your head is known. So why is Jesus talking about sparrows and the count of hair? Because he's talking before that about a very difficult thing, that his followers are going to be persecuted. They're going to be maligned, just as he was. They're going to be threatened and killed in their case and his case. And he says to them, do not be afraid of those who will do that to you. Enemies, people who want to tear you down. Do not be afraid, because not one sparrow falls apart from God. If there's 7 billion people, there must be 100 billion sparrows. There's about 500 outside the windows of my bedroom, twittering every morning. But and I think he chose sparrow because it's just everywhere, and there's just so many of them. And they're so common and as it were, worthless. And he's saying, even a single sparrow is known by God. How much more are you known by God? He talks about the count of hairs on the head, and it makes me think of a parent who looks at their child while they're sleeping, maybe. And you just notice every feature about them and how the hair lays on their cheek. This intimate knowledge. And we might even press that today and say, a paraphrase, that even every strand of your DNA is counted. God has intimate knowledge of you. This is who Jesus is telling us God the Father is. This one who has intimate awareness, and we count. We matter. We are of infinite value to the divine being who wants us forever as his. And wants us to be with him now. And there may be a price for being with him now. But who would you rather fear? And the biblical word fear means many things, but more than anything, it doesn't mean so much horror. It means, who are you going to acknowledge and regard and let shape you and control your life? And are you going to let your enemies tell you who you are? Are you going to let people who dislike you and hate you define your life? No. You have a Father in heaven who knows you. Let him guide. Acknowledge him, his life, his spirit, his way. Walk in that. Don't fear them. Fear the one who holds you body and soul. But then he goes on to talk about family, household. And he's simply acknowledging that when we choose to acknowledge God, we may be in a family that does not make that choice, or does not want to make that choice the way we are making that choice. And we may find we're opposed. That's one obvious application of what he's saying, but it's not the only one. I mean, family is, most of the time, for most of us, a very positive place of love and care. It's not perfect, but it's for us and with us. But your family cannot be your whole life, can it? Ask a teenager. Family's not big enough. It's not enough. You need more. You need a bigger life. You need a bigger life even than friends. And even a bigger life than, if it comes along, a marriage. A bigger life than a career. None of that is enough to sustain our souls. And do we want to be defined only by the expectations of our family? They can be good and well-intended, and they can be damaging too, even when they are well-intended. Who do you ultimately respond to? The bottom line, who tells you who you are. And then as St. Paul reminds us today, we should probably throw in good old self. I know what's best for me. Ha, ha, ha. I need something much bigger than me to trust. And that's why that language about dying to self. That's why that language about, if necessary, against family. Doesn't mean we don't love our families if there's conflict. And that's why, of course, we stand firm against enemies and detractors. Because Jesus is showing us who our Father is. The one who created life and created you and created me and knows who we are in a way no one else can know. And will lead us into the fullness of what that means now and forever. And so trust God. And there was a missionary working in, I think, New Guinea, quite a long time ago. And he was in a particular tribe that was, from our vantage point, insane. They had no sense of family cohesion. Everyone, it was pure individualism. Everyone for yourself. And as soon as a child could walk and pick up food, you're on your own. And he did not find a way to talk to them about trust because the word did not exist in their culture. There is no word for trust. It did not exist. So he got the idea. He found a chair and he went like this. And he said to them, "What am I doing?" And they said, "You're," in their language, in their words, "you're putting all your weight on the chair." And so he took that word and he said, "Put all your weight on God. Trust God."